So I know it's kind of dark, but it's cloudy and rainy, and I just got up, so I don't feel like turning on all the lights, and probably got crust in my eyes and everything. I don't care, so I'm just getting on here. A couple things I wanted to talk about. I've been thinking, sitting with the energies of this transhumanist movement, and if it's true, what is it all about? Why would they? So they need like a food source, kind of like what ants do with aphids, but ants actually treat the aphids well. um, but they secrete like this sugar substance that the ants. That's why they harvest aphids, because they lick off, they eat or whatever, this sweet secretion that the aphids give off um, after eating, or whatever. They secrete this stuff. So that's kind of like what they're doing. They're like harvesting us hominids, human nests. That's kind of like what this planet is. And with the dream about the pheasant crow and how they're not, I'm not going to get all into that, that's a different video, but how they were, that I did a couple months ago or whatever, in December maybe. But in the dream, because I had never heard of a pheasant crow, and this is right around the time of getting the word nid and all these different synchronicities happening. So hominid is human nest, and the pheasant crow isn't a what they call a parasitic bird, so they don't lay their eggs in the nests of other birds. Excuse me. And so I was getting all this nesting, seeding energy, and so just like the earth is a nest, our nest for the humans and all the creatures that God created, but I feel as if other beings, and they travel interdimensionally because of some experiences that I've had. That's the only way I could explain what just happened to me. So, they've infected the earth with their bad seeds. We're the golden seed, and if you look at almost every seed, they're golden colored, no matter what fruit or whatever they come from. Most seeds are golden. There are black seeds and stuff, but so yeah, there's golden seeds and there's dark seeds. And the golden, so okay, before I get into that, so this transhumanist thing, I'm like, well, if they want to control the population, but then they need us as slaves, or what? How? What's their thinking? This is what I was trying to like get into the mind of someone who wants to control you, which that's what evil is. Anything that wants to take away your power and control you and tell you what to do and make the rules for you, instead of you and God and your little clans or whatever taking care of anything. If someone gets out of line in the tribe or the clan, they come together and decide what to do. We don't need this big, huge, massive government ruling everything. The oligarchy, it's in the hands of the few. You may have however many people in the Senate and the Congress, but it's ruled by a very select few that, we might never know their name or face, and really the ones behind it all aren't the ones you'll ever see in person, probably anyway. But so they need to have this workforce, right? And that's what public schooling is all about, to get you to conform and respond to bells, and um, train you for a workforce to do the same thing, which doesn't even exist anymore. But um, it doesn't even need to exist. A workforce, what, worker bees? Who? What do we? I serve God. I don't. Even if, oh, they build our sidewalks, they do this, they do all this great stuff, but it's like, I didn't ask you to tear up the perfectly good ground and make a cement sidewalk there. But all these things, everything they do keeps us from connecting, especially to the earth. We have to have roads and sidewalks and all this stuff because we wear these certain kinds of shoes. We have tires. There's just the way things are. We just have to accept that. And I don't agree. If anything, if I aligned with anyone, it would probably be people who believe in anarchy, because you can rule yourself and your own family and community. But then I can also understand why we need rules and all this stuff, because, there's a lot of evil out there on the planet today. And I would say especially these days. So what I think is happening, because there's also this thing that's happening with how much evil there is, there's this great mass awakening. So there's a lot of people waking up right now. Excuse me. So what that means is we're going to ascend. And ascension means going home, returning home to God. The light, the golden sun, the golden seed, the thing that makes everything grow, the life force, our life force. And when we do that, I don't think we're coming back for a long time, because this planet needs to be quarantined and cleansed because the nesting ground has been infected with, and it's not it's an infection of, well, everything's energy, so it's a bad, low, dense energy. That's not a heart-centered, compassionate, empathetic energy. And so those energies are more of the root chakra that want to dominate, control, possess. It's a hunger. So different things you can hunger for. You have an appetite for food. You have an appetite for sleep. You have an appetite for sex. You have an appetite for the thing that's going to facilitate you getting those things. So, and when we're born, we're in that root chakra. We're helpless little babies. We can't even figure out what to do with our arms. We're just like, mommy, mommy. Thank God for mommy and the nourishment, the teat. And I relate the base, the root chakra, the Muladhara, as the teat chakra. That's where we fixate on our pacification, being pacified, that nourishment. So whatever we hunger for, that we need to just exist in our body, sleep, food, and then procreation is existence into the future, with offspring and everything. So, and then, we need to do the things that facilitate that. So money is associated too, because we need, well, the way it's set up is that we need money to go buy our food. And I mean, it's just backwards and upside down, right? Doesn't make any sense. But this is what we're forced into doing. Is being a part of a system where we have to work, go to school, do this, do that, have a card. It's just, and accept it as a normal way of life. And then we're sitting back and we're wondering why the planet's going to hell, and we can blame the government all we want. And yeah, there's chemtrails and all this horrible, crazy shit. But look what we're doing too. Just lusting, eating meat. When you see these commercials on TV for food, I can guarantee you almost every, unless it's like chocolate or sweets or something we do, but most of the time it's and sometimes they'll have a really like voluptuous hot woman with her cleavage out, and she's eating this succulent hamburger, and it's just dripping all it. It's funny because it's like they're just, all these things are to pacify you and keep you stuck in that lowest chakra, because, and this connects with the transhumanist thing. So if they can keep you on that teat, okay, so when you come off of mommy's teat, you get right onto the teat of television, receiving everything passively. So public education, the school system where you sit back and you listen to this authority figure. So church is like that, school is like that. They want conformity because they don't want anyone riling anybody up and waking up, because keeping you in your root chakra keeps you stuck in that matrix of money, everything that goes along. See, they know how the chakra system works. They know how the human mind works. They know human behavior. They know, just like when you have a whale or those killer whales that they have in water parks, and it's ridiculous, zoos, all that stuff. Pets aren't even a good idea. I don't think it's, if a wild animal and you make a connection and you partner up sometimes or whatever, that's cool, but not like owning a pet, keeping a pet, owning, I just believe everything should be free. So all this evil stuff's happening down here, but we're doing things that are feeding into this thing, okay? Because we're allowing them to manipulate us into staying in our lowest chakra, which keeps perpetuating their system for them. Because then it just, money, sex, root chakra stuff. And yeah, we need to have that, but we need to be in control of it in a perspective from the heart and the crown chakra, staying balanced, mind, body, soul. And that's just the body. And your mind is really here in your heart. It's not your brain. And that's been proven how much stronger the heart's energy field is compared to the brain's. But then your crown chakra, your connection with God, that's your soul. So your body, your root chakra, your heart chakra is your mind, and then your crown chakra is your soul. And that's where you connect with your oversoul, your higher self, your most high version of yourself. So what they don't want is for you to keep moving up your chakras and clearing out all those energies and getting to your heart and doing all the way. And but then you can now do the flow because you've gotten all the way up here. Now you're controlling the root chakra from up here in your heart space because it's been all cleared out and so you need to allow, and people call that the Kundalini rising, or it doesn't really matter. What it is it's just a clearing and cleansing out to allow for the flow. And and that has to do with the golden seed and seeding this planet, and we're the golden seed, and this planet was for us, and to take care of these animals, not eat them, and to take care of Mother Earth, not drive around and cars that even if it's an electric car, okay, and it doesn't pollute, there's roadkill, there's animals that should never have died because we're traveling around at unnatural rates of speed. But why are we doing this? We're doing it mainly to make money and go buy our food, but we should be able to live off the land free, like God intended for us, pick our fruits off the abundance, the trees, everything that God gave us, and live right. But we're forced to be a part of the system because you can get shot in some places. If you're on somebody's land, you can get shot. You can, you try to pick fruit or something off a tree, someone could, you can go to jail. You can be shot. You can, all these things can see how they're forcing us because through fear, because they can take away all your freedoms if you're not satisfied with the ones that they're giving you. So they're manipulating us through like all these commercial people who just sit back and they passively receive their information. They instead of being proactive and researching or just observing life. You don't even need to research stuff. You can look up in the sky. You can sit in your house and count how many planes go over. Just one day, just dedicate one day to sitting in your house if you live in a high chemtrail area, and just every time a plane flies over, put a little hash mark on a piece of paper and see. I've counted up to like 15 planes some days. And then just go outside and look up. Count planes, look up. You don't have to do research. All you have to do is observe, and you can see that there's something imbalanced and wrong. And, I don't believe we should be traveling around in cars, airplanes, all this stuff. People think, oh, well, life would be boring. And your life is a journey of all this anyway. You don't have to physically go somewhere to experience magic. And we used to be so much happier and satisfied with so much less. But they got you believing that you need all this stimulation, you need to go. Because we have to, that's part of their system. They don't want us to ascend and go home, but they know we're waking up and we're doing that. So they're like, well, who are we going to get to be our little worker bees then? So they have to come up with something. And so we're having our solar ascension, going home, the golden God, the golden seed, the golden path, Jesus Christ, whatever you want to call it. That's where you go home to be with God, because that's the portal, or whatever you want to call it. That's the way you came in, through the Father God, because it's the electric. That's the one that facilitated all this creation. Because it was the oneness, which was the negative and the positive, the yin-yang, the mother-father. But he wanted to burst forth and create that electric spark. And that's why, I'm sorry, TMI or whatever, but that's why the penis ejaculates like that. It's like a star, like an electricity light that bursts forth. And So they know that we're waking up, ascending, and not coming back for a long time. So yeah, we're having the solar ascension, not the moon, where we keep getting recycled and come back. And so this, and it's what the Hindis, there's a couple different, it's mukti or moksha, depending on what dialect, but that's what they call the liberation. So when you get your mukti or moksha, you get your liberation from the samsara, or the samsara. That's the karmic wheel, and that's when you go. Your soul gets recycled through the moon. It's soul recycling, and because that's what the moon does. It births, rebirths itself, and it was necessary, for us to go through our karma and learn our lessons and prove ourselves worthy of going home to be with God, such a magnificent, perfect place. So I think that's what this journey is all about. But we're waking up to that we love God and we want to go home to be with God and have our solar ascension. And we don't want to come back down. We're sick of this. I mean, it was a beautiful creation, and I can still enjoy the sunsets and all these different things, but I also realize that it's come to a place that is very highly infected. I'll just say that. Then that's what it is. It's infested with parasites, and it's highly infected, and there needs to be mass cleansing of just things being burned up, washed away, and a lot of people have had those dreams, and so have I, of things just like, here comes the boom, I just keep hearing that song, or here comes the boom. I can't remember what that's from, but here comes the boom. And it's coming. And, if our poles have to flip, we have to be knocked off our axis, there has to be mass fires, flood. I'm ready and willing to accept whatever God's will is, because we've done a lot of damage and we can't blame it all on the government. We have to take responsibility for our desire to be pacified and do things passively, because we have the lead role in our own play. We can't just sit back and watch our play happen. No, we have to make that happen. So yeah, the transhumanist thing is, they know that we're ascending, and so they know that we're not going to be recycled souls, and I believe there's only a certain amount of souls. And people can say, well, the population doubles, it's like 7 billion now. Well, that doesn't mean that every single body walking around has a soul in it. I believe that too. I believe there are soulless people walking around. And that has to do with the infection and people being infected, and they have different bloodlines or whatever. And I'm talking about things that aren't even human. That and it sounds crazy, but it's just, there's so much infection down here that it has to be purified and cleansed. But there are many benevolent energies that are helping us to do that and bringing us the things that we need, helping us with our awakening and remembering and recognizing, um, you know, this mass awakening is happening. So, and it has to, because the darkness can't rise without the light, right? You know, everything has to be balanced and harmonized, or it wouldn't exist. And once it gets too far out of balance and harmony, it won't exist. So, if they want the earth to keep existing, then there has to be a huge purge and cleansing of this whole planet, and needs to be, you know, God will take his people out, and then the rest who don't want to go and they reject God, then you get to stay down here. And, you know, but I believe everyone will have a chance, even if it's right at the last minute. But you have to be one with God, source, creator, Hamesh or Hashem. I say Hamesh because that's what kept coming to me, even though it's Hashem. I kept saying Hamesh because it sounds like Hamashiach, Yahushua, or Yeshua. I say Yahushua. Yahushua. Hamesh, like man in the flesh, man flesh. Ha is God. So, and the Jews always say everything backwards anyway, so Hashem probably really is Hamesh. But that's what kept coming to me. So I know everyone's, you know, the Jews say Hashem, but I feel like it's Hamesh. Hameshiach. Because it's like the messenger, but the Ha and the Mesh. Anyway, that's, you know, and words are, people just made them up, you know, like make up your own, you can make up your own language and words and however you want to say stuff, and, you know, there is no correction because you can say things however you want to say it. There's no rules. There's only not taking away the rights of others to have peace and maintain their physical safety, and, you know, so we're ascending, awakening, ascending, getting off this planet because it's infected. It needs to be quarantined, given a big injection of antibiotics or whatever, and clear out all these infected nests. And I feel positive about it because I'm definitely going home to be with my Creator. I'm not going to be down here because I love God and I love Jesus, and Yahushua is, you know, they say the way home to the Father is through him, because he is the sun, he is the golden light, the golden seed. He is God in the flesh. He was a perfect example of how we're supposed to be natural and free and not all these lies that they told you. And if you scrutinize, like someone like me, when I watch TV, I analyze it very much because I don't watch TV. I haven't for years. I don't watch Netflix or YouTube. I do research, and then I watch YouTube videos, and, but that's the only thing I watch. I don't watch even movies anymore. So it's important that we create our own reality, because what they're doing is trying to create a reality for you on TV and all these different things, and commercials even do this, trick your mind into believing that life is, you know, that these commercials and these programming, That it's there to show you a version of reality that's true, but it's not. It's all trying to teach you to believe that their version of reality is true. So you feel like you have to feed into this system, and you don't. Um, Even though they force us to, we're. It's like they build a sidewalk. It's like I never signed. Where did I sign on a piece of paper that said you can bust up Mother Earth and like put in a cement thing for people to walk on, or what, you know? Oh well, we need streets and roads and sidewalks and all this for the cars and the walking and the. But there was a time. It's like all this stuff existed before money existed. Trees that give us our breath, we don't need all this stuff. It's just so much of it is just stuff. Yeah, I have a 3-bedroom house to live in, but I don't really need much space at all. I don't need much stuff, much space, and if it was like that, and I would give up so much if the world was the way God intended for it to be, and the earth was sovereign and free and autonomous, and we could live off the land and, gather our fruits and nuts and just live naturally like we're supposed to. And people think, oh, you tree hugger or what? Or, well, yeah, 'cause I love the trees. They take my carbon dioxide, my waste product, and that's their breath, and then they give me my breath, the oxygen. Like, we take these super natural, isn't it awesome? And we take it for granted. And we just, I encourage people to walk more. Even if you have to take public transportation, that's better than everyone in their own car. Carpool, that do stuff. If you need to have a car, I don't like traveling at high rates of speed. It makes me feel nervous. I don't like it. I like to go as fast as I can run, and that's as fast as I need to go. I don't even like bicycle. I mean, I love walking, and that's why I do it so much, if it's not raining, freezing, because I have my son and stuff. So, but when it's nice, man, we are walking. We're walking. And, we wouldn't have to go all these long distances if we could live off the land. Our school would be right there. Your child's right there. Your farm, you're growing your food right there. You're living right there. Everything's just right there. That's how you have your little foundation, your little community, your little clan, your little tribe. But we've been told all these lies that we're supposed to be eating animals and judging the goodness of our lives by how much sex we're getting. Or how many people find us attractive, or this low root chakra stuff that keeps you pacified. When you get compliments and people tell you you're pretty, that, you feel pacified. Oh, that felt good. You feeling good. It's pacified. So doing drugs, all these different things that are root chakra, and not that it's a bad chakra. It's just you have to keep it, you want to call it the Ida and the Pingala, and then the Sushumna is the center. And the interesting thing is the Ida and Pingala, can't remember which is which, but one's red and one's blue, just like, our blood. And when you take the red and blue, it makes purple, and purple is the golden. The opposite color of purple on like a color chart or whatever is the yellow, the gold. And things that have purple skin, purple flesh, purple fruits, vegetables, herbs, that have a purple pigment have gold, monoatomic gold. So this association with the purple and the gold. So, and when you think about it, that's the golden path of you're raising up through your chakras up to your crown chakra. That's when you're allowing for that balance, that dance of the yin yang. Okay, and so when they cross, they're purple because it's the blue and the red. And that's your golden pathway, is the Shishunam in the center. But so it's like the center path, the middle way, the center way, the middle path, the pathless path. And it is kind of the pathless path because it takes these two forces working together as like a vortex, basically, is what the figure 8 is and everything. Yin yang, it's this vortex. It's these two opposing energies, like hot and cold, that create like a hurricane. So this is a vortex. That's what the yin yang represents, is the vortex. Everything is a vortex. Everything is a circle. So our energy field, we're a vortex. Every little, down to the atomic level, these things spinning around, well, what it is, it's a vortex. It's the yin and the yang. You have to have two opposing, like proton, electron, you have to have these two opposing things that are attracted to each other, and they spin around and around, creating a vortex. So the center way is that golden pathway. And violet is, the purple, or the red and the blue makes the purple. The purple is the highest vibrating color. And it's associated with the gold, and it's opposite the color wheel with gold, and the foods that have high levels of monoatomic gold have purple pigment. And then when people make monoatomic gold, there's a stage where it's still in like 6 to 10 molecules clustered together, and that's when the liquid, when they're doing all the chemistry, it turns purple. That's when it's at a certain stage of between 6 and 10 molecules. So they want to get it just one atom, or I should say atoms, 6 to 10. So it's making a molecule of gold, but it's still not at the monoatomic level, and it turns purple, violet. So that's what I think of the Ida and the Pingala, is that yin yang, the red and the blue, that makes the purple, the golden center path to enlightenment. And that's how we ascend, is we keep going up. And the reincarnation through the moon is that pacification of the base chakra, the teat. Okay, and that's the mother, and that's the moon. So if they can keep us in that root chakra of always wanting mommy, wanting to be pacified, the teat, the comfort of the teat, the pacification of being receptive and getting everything passively, basically. You don't have to do much work, but just flip on the TV or just suck on the teat. If they can get you to stay stuck there, they can get you to keep reincarnating, because they're going to have you associated with things that keep you distracted from the ascension, and you're going to have to come back and learn it again. But I don't know if we're going to have a lot of, there's not going to, everything's going to come to a grinding halt. Like, the people who are going to ascend are going to ascend, and then the people who reject the path aren't going to keep being recycled souls anymore. Because like I said, this planet needs to be quarantined and purged, cleansed, through fire and water however God does it. But and if I end up, I have to stay down here and do God's work. What I don't know, or just suffer through it, or whatever God has for me. Then I surrender. I surrender to God. That's the only. I don't surrender to anything else but God, and if that's God's will, then so be it. But I definitely am glad that I am out of the matrix, and even though I have to be amongst it, it's like you're still in the web, but now you know where things are, and you know how to climb through it and stuff. You're not like just trapped in it and getting like your blood sucked by the spider, which would just be like the oligarchy, these people who just want to control you and suck your blood, suck your energy, your life force, keep you out of your heart space and your crown chakra, and keep you just base root chakra pacified. The pacification program, because they want your soul. They want it to keep getting recycled so that you can keep getting born back into the matrix. And so that's why it's very important to let your heart be your mind, and connect with Source as much as you can. And we got to do the whole flow, so we got to go to our root chakra. We need sleep, we need food, but you'll notice, as you ascend more and more, you don't really eat as much, you don't really sleep as much, and it's just part of the process of getting off the teat and not craving this pacification of always just wanting to feel good and do things because they feel good, because they're fun, because not that that's unhealthy, it's just I find learning more about myself and spirituality the most fun. I don't need to go like spend a bunch of money at going to a bar, or I don't know, just whatever people do. It's just never appealed to me. But I've done my share of other things, but it's just not that we haven't done those things, it's just we start realizing we're desiring more than that. But they don't want you to desire more with that. They want you to be satisfied with all that stuff. That's how they control you. So once and you can call it Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's been said a million different times since the beginning of time, but you have those needs met, and then you go up the next level, and then to the pinnacle is the self-actualization, when you know your own power, and you know who you are, and you know what you want, and you know what you don't want, and you know what your limitations are and what you need to work on, and all these different things, because you start raising your consciousness as you have those needs met. Okay, you have the root chakra's good. You've been getting sleep. You've been getting food. You're good. You're good. Okay, then you go up to the next, the sacral, and you keep going and keep going, and as you go through each chakra, you have to get out the blockas, unblock the chakra, because the ultimate goal is to reach your crown chakra and have all those pathways cleansed out. And not that gunk won't build back up, but then you do some work on that chakra or whatever. And then you get to a point where it's like I've just surrendered to God and released everything to God, and my will is coalesced with God's will, and I just say, I give it up to you, God. Whatever you need to do. If I need to go through whatever I need to go through, my faith won't waver. So, um, because if it's a test, then I already know that I passed. So I just got to get through it. It's just you got to get through the process. So, um, looks like 45 minutes. I'm going to leave it at that. So, yeah, I just wanted to share some things that were on my mind, and I think I covered it all. Yeah, so just some connections, dot connecting that I've been doing lately, and trying to figure out this transhumanist thing and what they're thinking and why they want that, and what's happening on the whole. So it's like we can see what's going on with the dark, what's going on with the light, what's happening on this side of the equation, and because it is an equation, it has to stay equal and balanced, just like in math, an equation, the equal sign. What you do to this side, something has to happen of equal opposite reaction over here, just like physics, and that's how math is, the equation. So it has to stay balanced. So something, you may do it over here first, but then you have to balance it out over here. Or something may happen over here, so it has to, then you go over there and balance it out. It may not happen at the exact same moment, but it will be balanced out. You cannot move on to the next step until you balance the equation. So, and the way we're doing that is by waking up, sharing information, ascending through the sun, going home, letting this place get purged and cleansed and purified. And so, I love you all. Blessings to you all, and peace be upon you all.